Good afternoon, welcome back to a brand new video. It has been raining all morning, but it looks to be clearing up a little bit, so I thought I'd get out. I've fed, watered the animals. I've got probably 3 and a bit hours until the sun goes down, so I better get a move on. So I've not actually come too far up today because I don't need to. What I'm looking for is dead standing, dry, small diameter trees, and that's exactly what I've got behind me. So this is a perfect place to start. I'm gonna be chopping up some firewood. This won't need too long to dry before it can actually go in the fire. I've got the moisture meter with me so we can do some tests later in the video. It was a little bit bumpy coming up that track in the tractor, but it did well. I've got some leveling out to do in the future. And I don't think I've showed you guys this. I got this with a Canadian canoe that I got off Facebook Marketplace. It's a lot smaller than my other trailer, but it's a lot more nimble and easier to get around some of the tight spaces up in the forest areas. So I'm gonna test it out today, see if it can handle a big load of firewood. And if it passes a test, I'll be using it regularly. The chainsaw is now just warming up. It's best to warm up all the gear on a cold day like today. We want it to last as long as possible because it's expensive stuff. And one of the things I really want to talk about in today's video is the misconceptions of what it's like to live off grid or live out here in Portugal on a piece of property. The fact that a lot of people think it's really cheap, it's really affordable, they can just come out here, quit their jobs and then just live off the land. It's not always that simple. So I'll talk a little bit after I've cut some trees. Is there anything better for your mind than being out in the woods, cutting down some trees, chopping some firewood? That to me is like the dream of what I imagined when I was moving to Portugal. I've just got the moisture meter out, which always makes me laugh, but it's a very useful tool. My dad sent me this, and I'm gonna try and measure some of the moisture levels in the wood. I'm pretty sure that it's going to be perfectly fine, most of it, to burn straight away. Couple of weeks drying and it's ready to go in the fire. So you can see I've chopped quite a few trees down there. I've cut some of these up already, but what I thought I'd do is just fell them all first and then cut them up and then load them into the trailer afterwards. Moisture meter is ready. Let's try this one, medium size down here. Don't know if you can see that, 15.9%, which is very, very good. That's ready to go straight in a fire. Then we got the biggest size that I'm cutting down today, 18%. I am very happy with that. What a result, super happy about that. Anything under 20% can go straight in our fire. So it looks like we're gonna have a lot more firewood for the next coming couple of months, which is good because it's started to get pretty cold here at Miracle Mountain. We are in a mountainous area, so it does get colder than some other parts of Portugal, but in the summer it means it's a little bit cooler as well, which is definite a bonus. A lot of people told me when we had the fire that I need to cut all of the trees down immediately. I didn't want to do that. When I was in Alaska, I learned about leaving the wood and the trees dead standing and then cutting them down when you need them. It's a really good trick, because I would have just cut all of this down and it would have just been sitting close to the ground, retaining more moisture, welcoming more insects, and it just wouldn't have been as good quality as it is standing up. The rain can't really penetrate into the wood too well when it's just dead standing, and I think I proved that today, that it was a good decision. So I'm going to crack on with chopping some more. The weather today is super changeable. It happens, we're in the mountains, it's pretty common. So you just have to play things by ear. I've taken down about 12 trees. I'm gonna leave that there. I'm gonna chop them all up into firewood sized chunks and put them in the trailer before it starts to rain too hard, because there's some black clouds. It has been spitting with rain, and I risk not getting this done today if I don't move forward right now. So you can see I've fallen these trees as close to the road as possible, for the reason that I can basically drive the tractor and trailer along the road down this steep hill. It doesn't do it justice how steep this hill is, but I can drive the trailer down the road once they're all chopped up into bite-sized pieces and load them into the back of the trailer, saving a job having to lug heavy pieces of wood. But you can see I've got my work cut out now to get all of these cut into this size pieces. So before I load all of that firewood into the trailer, I want to talk a little bit about the misconceptions maybe you want to move to rural Portugal and live a life like we are out here, there's a few things you need to think about, because I have been receiving quite a few emails recently. There's obviously a lot of people who want to move, whether it's from the UK, Netherlands, Germany. I've had people from New Zealand, Australia email and say that they want to move out here and do this kind of thing, and that's amazing. It definitely is, but I think a lot of people have misconceptions of how it is to live off-grid and to be more self-reliant. So some of the things that are quite apparent from the emails that I've been receiving are that there's a lot of misconceptions, and sometimes people aren't being realistic. And I understand that, because a lot of people are stuck maybe in a city or a place that they don't enjoy, and they want to move somewhere better like Portugal and live a more free life, which is amazing. I definitely recommend Portugal. It's such a brilliant place. The people are beautiful. The landscapes are beautiful. I wouldn't change moving to Portugal for the world, but there's also quite a lot of things that you maybe need to think about. So living in a rural environment like this in Portugal is amazing, but it's only amazing if you can afford it. The last thing you want to do is move to Portugal with not enough funds to be able to live the dream that you had in your mind before you came here. And unfortunately, I'm seeing it more and more that people are coming here only for a year and then they have to go back to their old life. At least they tried. Incredible, hats off to them. But I just want to make sure that if you are thinking of moving here, be a little bit realistic, because it's not as simple as you might first think. If you're going to live off grid, there's lots of things you need to think about. Solar power, how are you going to get your own water? Do you need to go to the local font? There's a lot of things where living in a city, in a house where you can turn a tap and get warm water on demand, that you just can't do straight away when you move onto a raw piece of land with maybe an abandoned house that you're going to renovate. Things take time, and you have to be a certain type of person and have a certain type of work ethic to be able to make it out here on a property. So it's definitely better to try and fail than not try at all. That's definitely my motto. If you don't try something, how will you know if you could ever do it? But you also have to be realistic. I've had people email me recently saying they've got $10,000 to their name and they want to move out here, buy a piece of land and live happily ever after. And I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. I just want to make sure that people don't make the same mistake that I've seen lots of people make over the last year, moving out here and having to go back to their old lives. This is something that I'm super excited about. This is a small oak tree, and now that is going to be able to thrive because it's not being overshadowed by all of these pine and Douglas fir. And this is what we want. We want more of the native trees to Portugal and less of the pine and eucalyptus. So when you've got money in a bank, it goes down really quickly when it's stagnant and not working for you. So you're going to need to find a job when you move out here, probably. Maybe you've got a year, 2 years buffer. That's brilliant. That gives you time to build up a network of people and contacts where you could find a job out here. Think about what skills you have. If you're a builder, then you're going to do well out here. If you're a stonemason, that kind of thing, you're going to always find work. If you can work online, or you already have an online job and you can just move out here and work from your property, even better. I've got one more load of wood to fill up. The trailer is nearly full, so I definitely cut the right amount of trees. But can we just appreciate the view and the sky right now? And that is why you do move to Portugal, because after a long afternoon working in the forest, that is your reward. It's always a good idea to diversify your income and have as many streams as possible. And that is why I've been thinking about possibly starting a little firewood business, because I have so much wood on this property, I could not use it in my wood burner in a lifetime. So I may as well make some money out of it. And I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comments. Should I start a little firewood business? Another thing I'd really love to do, because recently I've started to see really old Portuguese people in the villages collecting twigs and really bad wood, really wood that you shouldn't really be putting in your log burner. It's very green, it's not very nice, it's got moss all over it. And I thought it'd be a really nice initiative if I do start this firewood business each year, maybe set up a stand in the local village, and I can offer essentially a certain amount of free wood for them old people who are maybe struggling to heat their homes, because stone houses are incredibly cold in the winter. A lot of these houses don't have proper heating and they have one open fire to heat the whole house. So I think that'd be really nice. Let me know in the comments. I got a couple of bits of wood and it's full. I absolutely smashed that. How did I know that that amount of trees would turn into this trailer? Crazy. It's a complete coincidence, but good. I've just unhitched the trailer because I'm going to be splitting the wood up here. That is a good amount of wood for an afternoon's work. I'm very happy with that. And look at that sunset behind. Stunning. I'm actually pleasantly surprised by the trailer and how it handled that wood. I came down a road that's really steep. It's got some big divots in it and it handled it perfectly fine. So that is good news. That means I'm more confident now taking it further up the mountain. I forgot to mention with this firewood business, firewood in Portugal is going up every year. It probably is all over the world as well, but it's actually getting quite expensive. So the profit margins are obviously getting higher for the person selling the wood, which is good for me if I do decide to go down that route. But I'd love to hear your thoughts as always. Let me know in the comments. It's been a really good afternoon. We had a little bit of rain. The sun's gone down now. It's getting pretty dark. I'm gonna go and put all the animals to bed, give them a bit more food, feed the cats. That is something that I haven't shown you in a long time. Just noticed how dirty my hands are. The cats, basically because it's getting colder, the cats aren't coming out and following me around as they usually would, which is a little bit sad because they give me company, but they'd rather just stay in the house where it's warm. They do go out in the evening when it's dark a little bit and probably do a little bit of hunting, but they're not around in the day. So I will try and show you the cats and give you an update. They are both still alive, so that's good news. I'm actually really pleased with myself. Like, all of the things that I'm doing here on my own, it's a mammoth task on your own. Like, 2 people make it so much easier. And one of the things I've been thinking about the firewood as well is I'll start off by just giving a really good deal to friends. So all of my friends who live here, who heat their homes with log burners, I can provide their wood for them at a really good price. Also, if some of my friends want to come out here and help me do some logging for a day, then they can leave with some firewood. So it's a good swap. Anyway, I'm going to leave the video there. It's been very productive and I'll see you on the next one.